What's going on, lovely people? How are you? Welcome into the show. We're here with Fred and Dre. This is the Flea Flicker Show. Fred, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty damn well. I'm going to the Colts Eagles game. It's preseason, doesn't mean shit, but it's a good excuse to get drunk and uh, get up to some shenanigans.
Yeah, it should be fun. Preseason games are fun. I haven't been to one in years, but they're a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see all the
Um,
prospects, see what our draft class can do. I mean, the Jalen Carters, the Nolan Smith, but I mean, those guys are going to get some playing time. So who knows if they're going to play in the preseason game? I hope I can see some Gardner Minshew. I missed that
yeah,
guy being in the Eagles green.
I think in the third game they try to play the starters a little bit, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Um, So anyway, today we're basically just gonna be going over. We're at least gonna go over the AFC teams, try to figure out what we think of each team, see if we're close on their records and win losses, see who's better, who's worse in our opinion, and then we'll see if we get to the NFC today. It might not work out today, depending on how long we go. But you ready to get it done, brother?
Yeah, let's get underway and go over some of these predictions.
All right. Is there a division you want to start with?
Yeah, let's start with the AFC. We'll go AFC West. Um,
Super Bowl
AFC
team.
West. I've got the Super Bowl champions being the favorite again there in the division. I mean, you got Chiefs. I got Chargers coming in second. I think they're going to be a hot offense and much improved from last year. I mean, just they got Herbert there. He's phenomenal as a QB, and I think they're going to take some strides. Broncos just missing the playoffs in my mind, but I think they're going to be much improved. And the Raiders, there's not much to be excited about there. I think Jimmy G, very handsome man, but not a great quarterback, and he's not going to do that much there, considering he didn't do that much with the loaded team that San Francisco has. So we'll see what happens and see if Devontae Adams demands a trade.
Yeah, I actually totally agree with all of your takes there. I think the Chiefs are probably going to be a Super Bowl contender again. Um, the Chargers playoff team, they look like they should be. We'll see if they've had a lot of close wins and losses over the years, so we'll see. They'll be in the mix. Denver, it really depends on how the new coach Sean,
Yeah,
his
Sean
name
Payton.
Sean Payton. I was thinking Sean McVay. Sean Payton. Yeah, yeah, we'll see what he can do with Russ. I trust him, but I don't trust him all that much with Russ. So we'll see what they do. And then Vegas, I don't trust at all. I don't like the coaching staff.
Couple good fantasy guys in Adams and Jacobs, but outside of those, there's not really much there. I mean, they got rid of Darren Waller, and he was a security blanket for them when healthy, and when healthy is a big thing. I mean, I do like their coach in terms of an offensive mindset, but
Yeah,
there's just not a lot there to be excited about in terms of offensive line, defense. The whole defense is pretty trash outside of Crosby.
yep.
So um,
Although I like
not a
the
lot to be
defensive
excited.
coordinator too.
What was that?
Weirdly enough, Patrick. I like the defensive coordinator too, Patrick Graham. It's just like they can't figure it out together. I don't know. It's weird. Weird situation.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Maybe now that they're going to be in Vegas full time, maybe it'll be signed for better things to come. Get rid of the Oakland stigma. You're
Yeah.
getting rid of the Oakland stigma in baseball with the A's, and I mean they're the worst team arguably ever. So um, I
Yeah.
guess just stay away from Oakland.
Let's hope for the Raiders fans that they do end up figuring it out though and surprise us both.
Out of experience, I would say stay away from Oakland is a good thing to live by. I mean, I went out to California a couple years ago and stopped at an In-N-Out, and in the 10 minutes that I was in and out, I saw a minivan get broken into in the middle of the day with the back windshield smashed and all of this family's suitcases taken out of the back and just pulled away in a blacked out Escalade. So um,
Wow.
stay away from Oakland.
Yeah, stay away, everybody. You heard
Yeah.
from Fred, firsthand experience. Stay away.
My
Um,
paste ass.
but yeah, so I think let's move on. What do you think?
Yeah, let's take it to the
Unless
next
you
one.
got
There's
another
not much to
take.
talk about there. I mean, uh, it should be contested there with the Chargers. The Broncos will be pretty good, but I mean, unless something happens to Mahomes, the Chiefs are still the class of that division and the class of the AFC. So I think it's on to
Yeah,
the next one, and I think next we got the AFC North. So um,
yeah. Well,
I think there.
with the Chiefs though, with the Chiefs, I mean, Pat Mahomes really proved that even when they lost Tyreek Hill, like they're fine. They won a Super Bowl without him. So
They
yeah,
won a Super Bowl
they're
without him. I
the
mean, they
team
don't
to
have
beat.
Juju again this year, but they lost Tyreek Hill, who's worlds better than Juju. So I
Yeah,
think Juju's production can be replaced if it's by Richie James, even who had a pretty decent year last year with the
I
Giants.
like Richie.
Mahomes can probably get a lot out of him. They still have Travis Kelsey, and he's double teamed on practically every play and uh, opens up the field for anyone else. So yeah, I think the Chiefs are still a Super Bowl contender. I don't think anything's going to change there. With Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes there, they're going to be there for years to come. So let's go to AFC North. What do we got going
Yeah.
on there?
So AFC North, I like that we're going to them next because I think the Bengals have proven that they're the next best team to possibly be in the Super Bowl. So I have them again as Super Bowl contenders as long as Joe Burrow's healthy, because they look tough after Joe Burrow with the quarterback room.
Yeah,
Um, right after them, I got the Ravens. I think they should be in the playoffs. Come back. They didn't make it last year, but they were right there fighting for it. So I think they'll be in a playoff team. The Steelers are always in the talks for playoffs in the playoff hunt right towards the end of the season. So I think they'll be there again. And then Cleveland, it really depends on what we see from Deshaun Watson because he looked awful last year. But if he can come back to even like close to what he used to be, they're a very talented team, and I think they'll be in the playoff conversation towards the end of the year as well.
yeah. In terms of the standings there, I've got Bengals at the top, just like you. I mean, there shouldn't be any reason to shake that up. Last year, I mean, they came short of the Super Bowl, but Joe Burrow, Joe Cool as he's known, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. He's hope
Yes.
to see him having one of those noteworthy pics of him just smoking a cigar in the locker room post win.
Yeah.
He's a pretty cool guy, and I actually have the Pittsburgh Steelers coming in second. With
Hmm.
I think Kenny Pickett takes a leap this year in terms of production, and he's got a lot of weapons there. Deontay Johnson.
That he does. Kenny Pickett,
Why am I
I didn't
why
fully
am I
trust Kenny
blanking on his other
Pickett before the
receivers?
season. Yeah, I didn't fully trust Kenny Pickett before the season. But in that first preseason game, he looks nasty. And he has George Pickens, and he looks like he's going to
Pickens.
be really good.
Yeah, so I mean, they have Allen Robinson, they have Deontay Johnson, they have George Pickens. That's a pretty good wide receiver room. It doesn't compete
It
with the
is.
Bengals. The Bengals, T. Higgins, Boyd, and Jamar Chase is the best in the NFL, but that wide
Hmm.
receiver room in Pittsburgh is pretty damn good. And Pickett does throw a decent ball, and don't sleep on their backfield with Najee Harris and Warner there
True.
as well. So
The receiving room
they should
depends
be
on
pretty
if
good.
Allen Robinson can come back though too, because he hasn't looked good in a couple of years really,
No,
but he has the talent.
there's not going to be a lot expected of him. I know last year when he was with the Rams, he was expected to come in and be right next to Cooper Kupp and put up a lot of production. But the Rams as a whole last year looked terrible, and um, especially after Stafford got hurt. So we'll see. It all
Yeah,
depends on how he connects with Pickett and if they have good chemistry. But um, I do think they can be pretty solid and take the next step. I do have them coming with 10 wins, so it should be pretty decent for them.
yeah, I could see it.
In terms of like next in the division, I actually have the Ravens followed by the Browns. So I think the Ravens are going to be in the contention for playoffs. I don't think they're going to quite make it, but um, the Browns, I think, will be competitive in a lot of games. I think they're going to fall short. I think they're going to be similar to how the Pittsburgh Steelers were last year.
Mm.
I just don't have a ton of confidence that Deshaun Watson uh, can be who he once was. And it's also hard to just have confidence in the Browns. The Browns are always a
True.
train wreck and seem to find a way to shoot themselves in the foot and bite their own ass. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that. They do have like they have a number one receiver though in Amari Cooper. They got Donovan Peoples Jones. He's been pretty solid. They just got Elijah Moore. He was supposed to be really good for the Jets.
I'm actually
So I
pretty
mean they have some
optimistic
weapons
that
there in the
Elijah Moore
receiving
is
room,
going to
and
have a
then you
really
can't
good
forget about David
campaign
Njoku
there
either. He's
with the
very
Browns. I
talented
think
tight
he's got a
end.
lot of talent. He just unfortunately was on the Jets. So like, what's he going to do there? He's not. He's certainly not in the class of Wilson. So we'll see. We'll see though what can go on with Cleveland. I do think Tillman is going to make
Hmm.
some headway there in the room, especially with Peoples Jones being on his last year. I think Tillman being like a six, what is he, six
Mm.
five, like
He
220
could.
pounds or something like that. He's a big body, so I think he's going to be a huge target for them.
Yeah. Yeah, he's big.
Yeah, you
Yeah, and then of course
can't
they have
forget
Nick
about Chubb.
Chubb too, one of the best running backs in the league, and they have a good O line. Yeah, and they have a good O line, one of the better O lines in the league too.
Hmm.
So they have
And they execute.
everything that they
And
need
they're
to
in a
be
tough
a
division.
playoff
So I mean,
team.
they got to
Just can they
compete
put it
with
together? Can Deshaun
the
Watson put it
Bengals. They got
together?
to compete with the Steelers, Ravens. This is my most competitive division in the NFL in terms of top to bottom. So I think there's going to be a lot of tough fought games. There's just I don't know if they're quite there with the Bengals, and I think the offensive repertoire and the pass rush for the Steelers is going to really help them out. And with the moves that the Ravens made, and finally paying Lamar Jackson, I think they're gonna see some ground there made up. I mean, the Ravens made the playoffs last year, and they
Yeah,
didn't even
I
have
agree
Lamar
with you.
Jackson.
They
So
should be they should be the
they did.
yeah,
At 10-7, they did.
yeah, and they
Yeah,
should
they
be.
were
Oh, did they
one
make
of
the
the last
playoffs? I
ones
thought
to
they
squeeze
didn't.
in. I'm not
What?
sure.
Wait, who did
I
they
just
play?
remember
I could have sworn they missed the
I just remember
playoffs.
Huntley getting
Did Huntley play the game?
ripped apart in the playoffs. I'm not sure who they played. Um, yeah.
Huh. All right.
Who we got next? Yeah. Let's move on to the
Are you ready
East.
to talk about
What do
the
you got going for
AFC
me?
East, Fred?
No,
Well, for
I can't hear him at all.
doing you good, man. Chill
Can
out.
you hear Jack screaming
Can you hear the
downstairs?
barking?
Uh, yeah, he's a crazy 16-month
Okay.
old baby who's the size of like a 3 year
No, I
old,
can't.
just screaming his head off. So
All right, yeah. For the AFC East, so
oh wow.
I actually got the Jets taking it. With the addition of Aaron Rodgers, again with the addition of Aaron Rodgers, and they brought in his guy Alan Lazard. They brought in Nicole Hardman. The O line is kind of questionable, but and then they got Brees Hall, and they just signed
Delvin Cook.
um,
Yeah,
that running back from the Vikings,
that's a backfield that's going to be
Dalvin Cook.
more of a
Jeez,
real
really blanking
on-field
on people.
production than a fantasy production, I think. Uh, I mean, those are two phenomenal backs, and they're gonna be a disaster for teams to game plan for. But I mean, if you want to jump to fantasy for a second, what do you even make of that backfield? I mean, uh,
No, yeah, I agree with you. I think either one of them, Brees Hall or Cook, I think either one of them could have
yeah, I
really good
agree. I
fantasy
mean,
games, and either
really
either
tough.
one
Even
of
if
them
they
could
go
have
through a
duds if the other
50-50
one's
split and
balling.
they get
So
20 carries
it'll be
split between
difficult.
them. Say they have 30 carries, 15 carries, and that's enough to be
Hmm.
fantasy productive, but it's certainly not the bell cow work that both of them had previously, especially since Aaron Rodgers, he's going to want to throw the ball. He's going to want to throw to Lazard and Wilson. So,
Yeah,
um, also with the staying on the Jets a little bit,
yeah,
you
they're
see
definitely going to be
Corey
passing.
Davis retired?
I
Yeah, they
saw
said
that he
he
stepped away
announced
from
his
football. I don't know
retirement,
if he fully retired unless that's new. He just said he might step away
which
for.
is wild. He's only been in what, 5 years?
Oh, so he actually retired. Well, good for him, I
He
guess.
hasn't been plagued by
Yeah,
like
it's
any
kind of a
major
weird for
injuries,
him to
so
retire as soon as the Jets get possibly good.
maybe he just didn't want to play with Rodgers.
Yeah,
Didn't
he
want to
just
play
didn't
with a
want to play
flat
anymore.
earther.
Didn't have the
So,
heart.
or is he a flat earther or anti-vaxxer
Yeah, maybe.
or both?
He's a lot of things. I'm not sure, but but yeah. After the Jets, I have the Bills taken second. They should still be a playoff team, but it looks like they may have taken a step back to me last year, and I don't trust their O coordinator, so I have the Jets beating
Yeah,
them
so I
and
actually
to take the division, and the Bills
go ahead,
still
keep
making the
going. You
playoffs.
still got
So
more room to go.
um, then yeah, I have the Dolphins coming in third there. I think they're going to be fighting for a playoff seed again this year. Um, and then New England, I have coming in fourth there. I think they'll also be fighting for a playoff
Yeah,
seed, but it
I have
might just
pretty
be too
similar
difficult for them to
standings
make it.
in terms of all of the all most of the teams being competitive in terms of playoff contention. Um, where they rank is a little bit different for me. So I actually have the Bills winning that division, followed by the Dolphins, followed by the Jets.
Hmm.
I have the Patriots being a
I
bottom
can see it.
dweller and not getting a lot of wins, only getting 3 wins. So I just don't see a ton there. They don't have a lot of offensive
Really?
weapons. Their defense is taking a step back. I think they're still a decent defense. Um, they're just not the Belichick defenses that we know of old. Uh, it all comes down to quarterback play. I mean, Tua took a step up last year. Aaron Rodgers is
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, uh, and then Josh Allen is
Yeah.
one of the best QBs in the league. Um, but I mean, the Pats with Jones there, and I think Jones is usurped by Zappy, and I think he actually showed to be a little bit better than Jones, but neither really gives a lot of confidence to me.
Really?
A little bit, yeah. He just realized that he can scream at the
Go
top of
Big
his
Jack a
lungs,
little
and he
bit that
thinks that he's
time.
going to get whatever he wants when he screams. So
But yeah, the
um,
Pats.
he's not, but he thinks he will.
Yeah. Yeah, with the Pats though, with the, with the
Yeah,
Pats though, this is like the first time we're having a slight disagreement, I guess, because I really just trust Bill O'Brien's going to come in and really
yeah, it
fix
was
the
tough. I
offense, and
mean,
then I trust Belichick with that defense,
they do
regardless
have
of
an
who's there.
incredibly tough schedule. I mean, look at
Their
the
O
top
line might
three
take a
teams
step
in that
back.
division. They have to play each of them twice. So it's 6 games against three likely playoff
That's true.
contenders and 3 teams that could possibly all make the playoffs and be legitimate contenders in the AFC. So um, I just think in terms of their division, even though they're not a terrible team, there are a lot of teams in the league that are worse than them. I just think they do the short end of the straw because of who they have to play on a night in night out basis.
Hmm. You know what's funny? I actually have them only winning one
Oh no
divisional
shit!
game,
So they pretty much
um,
sweep everybody
but I have
else.
them going 8-9. Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
He's pretty solid. I mean, now they have
I do
Zeke though,
like
so you got to
Ramondre
wonder if he's going to
Stevenson though too
take
at
away
running
some
back
carries
for him.
from Ramondre in the red zone at least.
That's true.
I mean,
Should be a good
you
one-two
think
punch. And they
you
brought
think
in Juju
Belichick's going
as
to
receiver.
let Zeke use his crop
Oh,
top
and they
look?
brought in Mike Gesicki.
I don't think that's really gonna. I don't think that's gonna slide with Bill.
I don't know. I don't know.
Keep a
That's
close eye
something
on
we're
it.
gonna
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to maintain
Keep a close eye
maintain
on the
look
mid
at
torso
during. Yeah,
of
yeah, exactly.
Ezekiel Elliott. See if
We'll have updates.
see if it's allowed.
Yeah. Yeah. So
No, yeah, I'm
unless you
pretty
got
much
another
set there.
take, I
I
think we're ready to
I
go
will
to the
say
AFC
I do like
South.
Gesicki being there. I think that they're gonna add have that two tight end set like like they did have with Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, but not quite as good. But that's when they had the most success, and I think
Not
they're going to try to go
not
back
quite
to
as
that a little
good, but
bit.
yeah,
But it's like
it's like the
it's
Kmart
that
version.
version, but light, super light.
Yeah, super light.
Yeah, for the South,
But
I've
what
actually
you got for
got
the AFC South, man?
Jags, Texans, Titans, and Colts. I mean, it'll be pretty hard for the Jags not to just run away with this division, with the mess that is in Tennessee, and then uh,
Yeah.
two other teams where they have rookie quarterbacks and not a lot of weapons. I mean, the Colts had Jonathan Taylor ask for a trade, so if they get rid of Jonathan Taylor, there goes their entire offense. You might see the same happen with the Titans and Derrick Henry,
Yep.
although Spears looks pretty good as a rookie out of their backfield,
Pretty
but
much.
preseason can only tell you so much. But I'm excited long term for what Richardson can maybe
Yeah.
do. A lot of potential there, but will he actually relay it to the field? C.J. Stroud, I think he is good enough to win them a few games this year against like some other bad teams, but I don't think they really take the step against teams that are worth their grit. So. I mean, last year they were in a lot of games. They were competitive with a lot of teams. They had a competitive
Hmm.
game for 3 quarters with the Eagles, 3 quarters with the Cowboys. They just couldn't get quite there. Um, so I think they're making some right moves, and I think that the pieces are there to build upon. I just don't think that they're going to do too much. And Jacksonville taking the step that they did last year with Lawrence and the pieces they got this offseason. I mean, Calvin Ridley being added to the receiver room is huge. So you might even see them going beyond what I have them at 12-5, but I don't think that's really realistic for them to go much higher than that. I think that's probably their ceiling.
Yeah, I have them at 13-4. I think Jacksonville is going to take this division relatively easily. Yeah, I agree. Um, I have the Titans though being competitive still. I still believe in Tannehill. I still believe in um, the running back there. I'm blanking on names today, man. I don't. He's Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I mean, they got some good
I'm
weapons. They
still,
have
I'm
Derrick
still, I still
Henry.
believe in him,
I mean,
and I
they've
still
brought
believe in the
in
coaching staff
Hopkins, so a
there.
lot
So
depends on what
they
Hopkins
they
can
did
do
look
as
a
a
little
receiver.
rough.
So, I mean, if he looks remotely like he did last year when he was healthy,
They got Nook.
he's a great option there to put alongside who was the rookie they got last year.
Uh,
Yeah, if Hopkins is anything like he was last year, that's a
Traylon
good 1-2
Burks.
punch with Traylon Burks and
Yeah.
Derrick Henry coming out of the backfield. So um, we'll see what they can do. They might be very competitive, but it also just depends on the direction they want to go. I mean,
They got Kyle
you
Phillips
could
in the
see them
slot too.
trying to go to one of their young guys that they have draft capital in, whether it be Willis or Levis, and offloading Tannehill to somebody else who has playoff aspirations. So it'll be interesting.
Hmm.
You can see that in a lot of teams throughout the league. If they start
Yeah,
out rough, they might try
if
to
they
sell
start out
off.
rough, that could definitely happen. I think, yeah, I think a lot of the Titans will depend. Their season will
The
kind
Eagles
of
cast
depend
off.
on in the hands of like Andre Dillard.
Eagles
To
cast
be
off
honest,
first round pick. Yeah,
and
he was
I know you
supposed to
know
be
Andre
phenomenal,
Dillard.
and then the Eagles went out
Yep,
and got Jordan
he's supposed to be their
Mailata, and
left tackle, man.
that rugby sensation became an NFL superstar. So
Yep. Yeah, if the Titans O line can play decent, I think the Titans have a chance
no,
to
I
fight
can definitely see
and
that.
be decent. They're not going
It's
to be a
hard to
Super Bowl
predict
team, I
injuries. I
don't
just
think at
don't
all,
see
but
Hopkins staying
I
healthy
think they
throughout a
could.
whole season. Um, Derrick Henry, with the amount of work that he gets and him going
That's
up in
fair, yeah.
age, I don't see him staying healthy,
Derrick
or
Henry's
he may
getting
even be
old.
traded. But we'll see what happens there. I just think that whole division is really going for a youth movement, and uh, they might do the same and offload their aged guys.
Yeah, the Titans.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean the
Yeah, the
Jags are
Titans
already
might be a
there.
year too
Jags are
late on
already
that
there.
if they're
Texans
not
are on
good
their
this year.
way, and Colts. They
Houston.
have Pittman. They have Richardson set
Yeah,
up, so they have a wide receiver one and a hopeful potential superstar quarterback in the making, but we'll see what he can do. I mean, his metrics are off the chart,
We'll
but
see.
can they
I don't
actually really
trust
on the
him.
field? I mean, Jamarcus Russell's metrics were off the chart, and he couldn't do shit on the
Yeah.
field. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. They
He's
got a
solid.
possible stud at tight end too in Jelani Woods.
Yeah,
He
I've
looks
noticed
like a
over the
freak
last
in the
couple years,
making.
the tight end rooms
I don't know if
seem
you
to be getting a
saw
lot more
him, but yeah.
athletes. It used to just be like you'd have,
Um,
even a couple years ago, it was you had like four good tight ends. You had
yes.
Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews, Goddard. I guess
Hmm.
Goddard's taken a leap the last couple of years, but I mean, you'd have four or five. You wouldn't have too many, but there's so many in the league that are good athletes. I mean, even just staying in the AFC, you got Njoku, you got Andrews, you got
Yeah.
Fairmouth. That's in the AFC North. But I mean, um, Dalton Schultz is with the Texans now. Ingram's with the Jags and had a career year last year. I mean, the tight end rooms throughout the league are taking jumps. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much
Yeah, they
what
got a lot of
Dalton
like big wide receivers just switching to
Kincaid is
tight end
for the
because
Bills. I
they're
mean
so
they're
athletic
using
and good
him
at
as like
catching.
more or less a wide receiver and a big
Hmm.
bodied one than a natural tight end.
Yeah. Yeah. And for the Texans, I actually really like C.J. Stroud. He was my favorite quarterback coming out of the draft. I know he got kind of poo-pooed on by the by the by all the draft gurus. I don't know about all those guys, but I like C.J. Stroud. I think he's really. He had a
I mean,
lot of
as
help
did he
in
went to
in
Ohio
school,
State.
so
I
like
mean,
it'll
if you go
be
to Ohio
we'll
State
see
or
what he can do on the
Alabama, it's
Texans. But
always
I
I
think
think a
he's gonna
big
be really
question
good.
mark whether or not you're going to translate to the league because you have so much help. I mean, Ohio State he was just loaded with talent.
Yeah.
So I do think he throws the best ball of any of the rookies. He throws a phenomenal ball, especially a deep ball.
Mm-hmm.
And now he gets Mechie back healthy this year, coming back from leukemia. So yeah, I mean he was a great pick when they took him, and unfortunate
Mechie
circumstances,
looks
but he's
like
a
good.
phenomenal talent, and um, I think he's gonna be a good option for them. Also, don't sleep on Hutchinson or Tank Dell. So they got a couple good rookies there. Um,
Yeah,
in
I
the late
agree.
rounds that I think are going to make some impacts. But I think their offense is going to take a huge leap. And then their defense with DeMeco Ryans a head coach, they might be pretty decent defensively in terms of actually like those guys playing for their coach and beyond what their talent is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that first round pick looks really good already too. Will Anderson? I think he looked really good in the preseason. Um, yeah. Uh, do you got
Yeah, we
anything
can go
else
over
for the AFC while
some
we're here?
playoff
Maybe we should
action,
go
see
over
what
the
we got going.
playoffs for the AFC. So for me, for the playoffs, I had the Bengals actually take the number one seed, um, the Chiefs number two, Jaguars number three, and Jets number four. And for the
Okay.
wild card teams, I had the Ravens, the Bills, and the
So actually,
Chargers, and had the Dolphins just miss
I
out.
had the number one seed being the Chiefs, two being Bengals, followed by the Bills, and the Jags. Being all the division winners. And then the wild cards I had going with the Chargers, the Dolphins, and the Jets. So AFC East just stacking the playoffs with three teams coming in. Um, out of those games, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, basically our only difference.
Yeah, and it could go
Our only
either way. I mean,
difference
I
was that
had
I
both
had the
teams
Ravens and you the
being very
Dolphins.
competitive and being right there at the end, and the Dolphins just having a slightly better record than the Ravens. And in terms of going advancement, I have actually have in the wild card round. I have the Bengals beating the Jets. I have the Bills beating the Dolphins, and I have the Chargers facing the Jags. And this time, the Chargers win it. They don't blow that huge lead that they had last year, and I think they actually take it this year.
A little rematch would be fun. Yeah, there'd be some fun games for for my wild card games. I have the Chiefs taking out the Chargers. Chargers will like never win that matchup. I have the Bills taking out the Jags, and I have the Jets
All right, so who do you
beating
got?
the
What do you
Ravens.
got coming out of the AFC divisional rounds?
For, for the division, yeah, I have the the Bills after beating the Jaguars. They go to Cincinnati to face the Bengals, and I just really don't think Joe Burrow is going to let the Bills beat them. So I have the Bengals taking that one. And then the other divisional game, I have Aaron Rodgers and the Jets after they took care of business against the Ravens. They head into Kansas City, Chiefs Kingdom, to face Patty Mahomes. I think that would be a fantastic playoff game. The new kid, well, not new kid, the new old man on the block, Aaron Rodgers, coming into Chiefs Kingdom to face the Super Bowl winner. And I don't. This is like I don't know if this would happen. Maybe this was me more wanting it to
I
happen,
think
but
that's
I
more
actually have
hopeful
the
than anything
Jets
else.
beating the Chiefs in the divisional
I mean,
round.
it could happen. They have a lot of weapons. They have a lot of weapons and a really good defense. I mean, no, their
Yeah,
corners
that's what I got going on.
are just going to tear apart
Yeah,
any weapon that the Chiefs have, except for Kelsey. But I mean, proved last year during the Super Bowl. Doesn't really matter how good your corners are. With the Eagles' corner room, they couldn't stop them still.
yeah.
So
Sauce is going to shut down.
it all matters with the pass rush. If you can get a pass rush in there, just like any game, if you can get the pass rush in, you stand a shot at winning. And Patrick Mahomes is better than almost anybody at passing on the run and improvising, but even he struggles with a great pass rush sometimes. So that will hold its weight in gold. So I have the Chiefs going to the AFC Championship, beating the Chargers. I think the Chargers make it there. I just don't think that they have what it takes to beat the Chiefs. They're going to get outcoached by Andy Reid and outmuscled by Patrick Mahomes. So, and then I actually have the opposite from Bengals and Bills. I have the Bills taking this
Yeah.
one. I do. That might be similar to your Jets game,
Wow.
where it's a little bit more hopeful for me. I do like the rough and crazy Bills fandom. I do like the Bills Mafia and all their. I want to see more tables being smashed in the playoffs. So let's keep the Bills train rolling.
My dream is to see a Bills Super Bowl. I would love to see Bills Mafia
That'd
in
be
a Super Bowl
phenomenal.
parking lot. All right, that would be amazing. But
Bills versus
so
Chiefs
for the
and
conference, you have
a
the
little rematch
Bills
from a couple years
versus the
ago, and I guess
Chiefs.
we'll get to our predictions for what
A
actually
rematch
happens for those
from a couple years
when we
ago.
get through the NFC. That's only two teams left in the AFC, so we'll kind of make a final four there for what we think is going to happen.